Around 40 soldiers came home just in time for Thanksgiving in Colorado. They were greeted with hugs yesterday after being deployed in Afghanistan for 9 months. Tens of thousands of troops will spend Thanksgiving away from their families to protect our country. But their sacrifice will not be forgotten. Chip Reid visited a new museum that ensures all those who served will be remembered. And he met with former Joint Chiefs Chairman General Colin Powell, who explained the significance of the new exhibits.
Good morning. All across the country, there are memorials to those who fought in wars from the American Revolution to Iraq and Afghanistan. But there's never been a national museum for all veterans who've served in war and in peace. But a recently opened museum in Columbus, Ohio, has changed that. A monument that says, "Thank you." The new National Veterans Memorial and Museum pays homage to the more than 40 million men and women who have served in the United States military. There are displays you might expect: Civil War-era hats, first aid kits dating back 200 years, and boots from a fallen soldier in Iraq.
And I've watched the transition of helmets over the years.
But Colin Powell, the honorary chair of the museum's board of directors, says it's about so much more.
I wasn't planning to get on another museum board, but once I came out here when it was under construction, and I had to be a part of it. It is unique in that it focuses on the individual soldier, sailor, airman, Marine. It's not about the battle. It's not about the generals. It's about the folks who actually get the job done.
There are no tanks in here.
Don't need any.
There are no planes.
No planes. It is a quiet place where the focus is totally on the individual GI.
GIs like Tom Tran, who was shot in the head 4 days into his first combat mission in Iraq.
In the back of the head?
The back of the head.
And you were still conscious?
I was still conscious, bandaged my own head, cracked a couple jokes, tried to keep myself awake, and we finished the mission.
I never even thought about the military while I was growing up.
Tran tells his story of service in video exhibits throughout the museum.
A lot of veterans come back and they feel like they don't have anybody to share their story with. And this is proof that they can share that story.
There are interactive exhibits like this one, which shows the number and location of U.S. troops throughout the decades.
In the grade of colonel.
And, of course, stories of enlisting, of sacrifice, of coming home, from the famous to the anonymous.
I never would have thought anybody would be interested in my story. But why shouldn't they? You know, I gave 17 years to this country, and I think anybody who's worn that uniform deserves to hear their story told.
The museum doesn't shy away from some of the military's thornier issues.
By the time I graduated college, I was a single mother.
When Jaspin Booth was discharged after a cancer diagnosis, she found there were no services for her or her son.
I took an oath 17 years ago to never leave a fallen comrade, and once I saw that that was a void, that became my next mission.
And what did you do exactly?
So I started in a nonprofit organization called Final Salute, Inc., and our mission is to provide homeless women veterans and their children with safe and suitable housing.
This is when you first went to Vietnam?
23 years young.
23 years?
Yeah.
How long before you became a prisoner of war was that?
Well, that was September of 1967, and my airplane went down in January '68.
Tom Moe was a POW for more than 5 years. His daughter was an infant when he left and 6 when he returned.
And we had 2 more kids after I came home, our boys, and they've each had 3 kids. You know, I cherish my whole family, but my boys and my grandkids would have never been born had I not come home.
Do you think this museum will appeal to civilians and military and veterans alike?
I hope so, because we will only have about 1% of the American population involved in military operations. And so it is important that the other 99% know of their sacrifice and why they're sacrificing and what that sacrifice is like.
Of the more than 40 million Americans who have served in the military, about half are alive today. Bianna?
It's an important reminder that yesterday we lost the oldest living Pearl Harbor survivor, Ray Chavez, 106 years old. You think of these ordinary Americans making such extraordinary decisions and bravery fighting for this country.
Duty, honor, country, grace under pressure, and what you heard that veteran say there, finish the mission.
Yeah, we should
America's
be telling
fighting
their
men
stories.
and women. Yeah, indeed.
Extraordinary stuff.